Hi, I want to talk to you today about one of the posts from my blog, otherpeopleschildren.org. And that post is how to help our children overcome their self-limiting narratives. It seems that when we're raising other people's children, our children come to us with narratives built into their head about their place in the world. To some extent, this is inevitable. We are a storytelling species, and we have always used stories to make sense of the reality around us. Our children are no different. They have put together stories in their head that explain their place in the world and the experiences they've gone through. The problem is that many times these stories limit them. And they're wrong. But children have in their heads that, for example, there's something wrong with them that's going to keep them from ever being happy. Or with younger children, that it's something that they did, that somehow they're responsible for their parents breaking up and they're losing their intact biological family. And then, of course, the children who come to us as foster children have all of the narratives built into being in the system for ever how long they've been. And they may have the narrative that there's going some failure about them that's going to keep them from ever having a stable placement or anyone who loves them. So in order to push back against those narratives, we have to understand a couple of things. One is that this narrative is built into their lives at a level that we cannot reach with words. We cannot just say to them, I care about you, or you really are wonderful, or any number of other things. They'll listen to us. They'll be polite or not, but it won't really reach them. The only way that we can reach them is to counter their experiences. When I first married, I noticed that my sons were polite and perfectly pleasant, but somewhat reserved. The younger one, who had bonded with me much more quickly, as younger children tend to do, expressed it in terms of constant small little comments about how long his dad and I were going to stay together. And I realized it was because in his experiences, parents generally broke up. So he was constantly trying to make sure that I would still be involved in his life after his father and I broke up. A few years ago, I asked him when he quit worrying about a divorce between me and his dad. And he thought for a minute and said, well, you're still here. You guys are still married. And I realized that nothing I said through those years had made any impression on him. It was simply the fact that I was still here. And that's what it takes with our children to break through their self-limiting narratives. If we want them to believe that someone loves them, we have to love them. If we want them to believe that relationships can last, we have to make our relationship last. If we want them to believe that someone will be there and care for them, we have to be there and care for them. There's no way around it, and there's no other way to do it. But it can be done, because as I have constantly said, if I can raise other people's children, then anyone can do it. Thank you for your time. Leave your comments at debbieosborne.com or in the space below.